It's all about avocados today in the sartorial kitchen. First I'm showing you how to prep your avocados, then I'm making a classic guacamole, then it's avocado toast with a nice runny egg on top on an everything bagel, and last but not least, avocado bread with a lime glaze. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me.
Everybody, we are at the grocery. I'm picking up some produce for a fun avocado inspired menu. You didn't get that from the title. And for my avocado menu, I need some avocados. These are Haas avocados. These are the little round green ones. Now when they're green, they're not quite ripe. And the ones here are still a little green, but that's fine, because I want to make sure they're fresh. So I can chill them in the fridge or even stick them in the freezer for a short time, and they will ripen for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some of these up. I need about 5. And then I will be grabbing the rest of my ingredients. For produce, I pretty much have everything else I need at home, but I do want to pick up some nice bread for one of my dishes. I'm just going to look and see what looks good, and I'll make that decision, and I will see you guys back in the kitchen. Alright guys, we are back in the kitchen. I have got all of my ingredients with me, and I'm ready to throw together our little avocado menu. So, I love avocados. If you've never had them, they're very creamy when they're ripe. And they really don't have a lot of flavor, so they're a good additive for different things, condiments. And, of course, everybody thinks of guacamole. But I wanted to do something different. So I thought, let's do a little cake. And I'm starting with the wet ingredients, mainly my eggs. I always do those first so I can watch for the eggshells. And then before we get too far along, I just want to break these up a little bit, give them a little mix, so they'll incorporate a little easier into the rest of our ingredients. And for the star of our show, some avocado. So, if you're not familiar with cutting avocados, this one I've already done, and you kind of just slice around the inside of it, and you pull it apart, and you take the seed out. But I'm going to show you guys how to do that now. So basically, just take the knife like so, and just go down until you feel the seed. And then twist. Give this a little twist, and it should pull right apart, and then you got 2 nice little sides. And you can take the knife or a spoon or anything like that, and I just kind of get up here under this seed, and I pop it right out. Alright, so we've got our halves here. Now with that same spoon, or you can take like your thumbnail or whatever, and I just come in here between the flesh and the fruit, and just come around here and scoop this baby right out. And it should just slide right out. You just want to make sure you get all the way around. Alright, gorgeous. Alright, that is the last of our avocado. I'm going to clean this up and wash my hands real quick, and we'll move on to the rest of our ingredients. Alright, I've just begun to incorporate the eggs and the avocado here. So you just kind of come down here with the whisk, or if you have a masher or whatever it is, and just break down through that avocado. If it's ripe, it should be nice and creamy and just kind of pull apart for you. Otherwise, you can get like the food processor, or and just kind of give it a little chop. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now for the rest of our wet ingredients, need a little vanilla. A half teaspoon will do. And I like to use the good vanilla. And then we need about 3/4 cup of sugar. And that's really all the sweetness we're adding to this. It's not going to be like an overly sweet. It's going to be kind of between like a bread and a cake. And then we're going to stir that in. So I've got my little sifter here. I always like to sift my flour to avoid lumps, and you get a much more delicate product in the end. So if I didn't say before, it was 2 avocados. And I like to use the Hass avocados. They're the ones you're going to find the more common in your grocer produce section. And you want this outside of it, if it's a bright green, they are not ripe yet. They're still good. You just got to give them time to, almost like a banana. When a banana starts to turn brown, that's how you know it's ready to eat or to like bake with. Avocados are kind of the same. You want that outer skin to kind of get more of a purplish brownish color. So there is my flour. That is 2 cups of flour. I want a pinch of salt. There we have that. And we need some baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons. That sounds like a lot, but you know, with the avocado being our main base, we really need those leaveners in here. And then about a half. That's good. And we just give this a little tappity tap tap. The other reason I do this is it incorporates all the dry ingredients together. The salt and the baking powder get evenly dispersed throughout the flour. And that did pretty good. I'm going to come in here with my spatula. And then I just want to come in here and fold all this in. And when I say folding, I know I've shown you before, but I'll show you again. You just come underneath the wet ingredients and pull them over top of the dry until everything kind of becomes well incorporated. I like doing it this way because if you use a whisk, or even if you use like a stand mixer or something like that, one, you risk everything flying all over the place, and then you're wearing the flour. And you also risk over-developing the gluten in that flour. Then you're going to get a really dense, chewy product, which is not what we're looking for at all. Alright. This looks pretty good, so we're just going to go ahead and dump that right in to our loaf pan. It's a little sticky. That's bound to happen. Make sure we get everything out of here. Leave no man behind. Just kind of take my spoon or spatula and I just kind of go and pull it like away from itself. I want this to be kind of an even layer so I know that it's going to cook the same temp, and then it'll come out kind of roughly the same size. Otherwise you'll have some of it's this tall and some of it's not. And there we have it. Oh, that looks so good. I can't wait. And we're going to pop this guy in the oven. I've already set it to 350 degrees. And it's going to bake for about 45 to 50 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Alright guys, my cake is in the oven. It already smells amazing, but it's only halfway there. And I'm just finishing the last of my avocados here. This was 3 avocados total. We are making some guacamole. I know when I was demoing the cake earlier I said guacamole is a little on the money, but we're going to do some different things with it. But first, we need our guac. So I'm just getting the last of my avocado here out of its shell. And this time I'm dicing this baby up, as opposed to the other ones I left whole since I was mashing them into my dough. And the avocado is really easy. I just kind of do some slices. Just like any produce, you want to make sure that you cut everything about the same so it eats the same. And I'm just going to turn it the other way and give it some dices. On to the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to start with jalapeno. Chop off the top. And then I'm just going to kind of slide through here just a little so we can pull this apart. Pull that right in half. I want to take out the insides, so I'm going to kind of score this on both sides. The membrane and the seeds, that's where all the heat is. So I want to get rid of that. No thank you. And we turn it over. And this one I'm going to mince really fine. I don't want it to be overpowering. I just want, because you know I'm a spice wimp, but I like things to have a little kick now and then. And the avocado, it's really fatty. It's what I like to call good fat. So, you know, like they say, like, you know, you drink milk or something when you have something that's too spicy. The avocado, with its fattiness, kind of works in that regard. So it's perfect. And like I said earlier, it doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. So you can really add lots of different things and really transform it into something really unique. Okay, that is my jalapeno. Time for our shallot. Normally this is made with red onion. You can use white onion. I like this shallot. It's sweeter. It's a little sweeter. It's not as sharp as a red onion, but then you still kind of get that red color from the red onion. Of course, you can just use like a white onion if you want. I wouldn't use like a yellow Spanish onion, but either are fine. Also, I don't need a ton of onions. I don't want to buy a whole like huge red onion when this is probably just enough right here. What I'm getting out of this shallot. So I've cut that in half. I cut off the hard end. We leave the hairy end intact because it holds everything together while we make our cuts. And I just peel all that skin off. And you've seen me do onions before. Shallots are exactly the same. We come down here, we make our slits, and then we go horizontally and come through here a couple times. And the shallot's really small, so be careful with your hands when you're cutting into this, that you don't accidentally slice your finger. And same with this guy here. And last but not least are tomatoes. I always like to do them last because they will stain the cutting board and then everything kind of gets that tomato on it. And with the tomatoes, I'm just going to cut the ends off here. And these are just Roma tomatoes. I like these best for this. They're a little smaller. And I'm just using 2. That's going to be a good size. Then I cut these in half. And I cut them in half again. Because I want all my veggies to be roughly the same size. And then similar to the shallot, we come in here and we make strips. And then we turn it around and dice it up. And you want to make sure you have a really good sharp knife for this. Because the tomato with its skin and everything, if your knife is dull, it's going to get caught up on that skin and it's going to make a mess. The tomato's going to fall apart and just get juices all over. No fun. Alright, I want to season this a little. I'm going to throw in some salt. Just a good pinch of salt. So we're going to really wake up the juices from our vegetables and help everything kind of break down. And then I also want just a tinge of pepper. And now it's time for the rest of our limes. I need the juice of 2 of these, but I really only need the zest of 1. And of course, we always roll out our limes, as I did earlier. That's going to release the juices on the inside. And you always zest the lime before you juice it, because once you cut into this and squeeze it, all that juice out, you can't really access the zest too easily anymore. So it's good to zest it first. Okay, and then we have stragglers in the back. Get those out of the way. And then we'll set our limes down here for a second. I have one more ingredient. And that is some parsley. And I just need, that's probably a good amount there. I don't need too much. Now, normally, or traditionally, I should say you would use cilantro. Some people have trouble with cilantro. It has that kind of soapy quality. And I'm actually going to be serving this to some guests for the big Super Bowl Sunday game. So just in case there's anybody that can't handle it, parsley will give that kind of look of the cilantro without the flavor, but you'll still get that kind of herbaceous quality. And then what I do is I add the zest from the lime, so you get kind of the same effect as the cilantro without the unpleasantness for anybody who struggles with that. And I've just pulled the leaves apart from the stem, and then I'm just going to come in here with my knife. And I just go back and forth. This is mincing. And again, you need a really sharp knife for this as well. Otherwise, you're not really going to cut through anything at all. Now, if you've got like the dried parsley or like the Italian parsley seasoning, that is not the same thing. So if you're thinking, I'll just use the Italian parsley, that's not really the same thing. You're not going to get the same effect here. And this, for that whole bundle, was only like $1.19. So you're not spending a whole lot of money here. And I can use it for some other things. It stores in the fridge nicely for a while. You can also vacuum seal it and freeze it. It's easy to grow as well if you grow it out back. Alright, this looks good. I would say this is minced perfectly. So we'll just pick it up with our knife and throw it right in. Now I'm ready to juice. So for that, I am going to just cut right down here. And I went and got fancy on you guys and got me a little lime juicer. So this just goes in here. You know, I always used to do it by hand. And then you just come in here and squeeze, push down. And that little center pops in here and just squeezes all that juice out. Oh, it's so good. And then it comes out the little holes there. Squeeze as hard as you like, and then you get all that lovely citrus out of there. And that citrus is going to help us break down the avocados and everything. It also gives us like a nice acidity, and it's almost like a dressing that's really going to kind of bring everything together. Beautiful, yes. Yes, you can always test. You pull it out and give it a little squeeze, and you're good. We got all that juice. Beautiful. Now I'm going to come in here with a spoon. I'm going to toss this up real quick. Make sure everything is incorporated before we go to mash it up. And just doesn't that look gorgeous? Look at all those vibrant colors. You could serve it like this, like a relish. It's great on tacos, or you can even just take a chip and come in here and grab some of this. Mmm. 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 Nice and thick. Perfectly seasoned. And then the avocado is just creamy. It melts in your mouth. So good. But I'm going to do a mashed version of guac. So I'm going to take my little emulsifier here. And then I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to be gentle. I don't want to break this down too much. I still want it to have some texture, but I just kind of want to break this down a little bit. So it's more like a, not quite all the way a paste, but everything's a little more finer. We'll still get a little texture from the onions and the tomato. Oh yeah. Now, that is what I am talking about. Look at that. Beautifully mashed. I just want to see how all my flavors incorporated here. Oh yeah. See, now you get like the heat from the onion, the brightness of the tomato. Oh, forget about it. Now I'm going to set this aside real quick, and we're going to move on to our next preparation, which is going to be using some of this guac. Got my skillet on a low heat. I just want a tinge of oil to keep it from my egg from sticking, because we are making avocado toast. But I thought, let's jazz it up a bit. So avocado toast, it's toast, slices of avocado. How exciting. But I thought, what if we took the guacamole, that was our avocado. Then I got a nice little everything bagel here. Has all these wonderful seasonings on it, sesame and poppy seeds, and it's got some onion in it. So I'm going to pop this in my toaster oven. And I've got it set to toast. It's on a medium heat. And it's just going to be in there for a few minutes. And then while that bakes off, we're going to work on my egg. Now the trick to frying an egg, I know people get a little nervous about that. So I like the oil that's going to keep the egg from sticking. So there's a couple tricks to the egg. Making sure that the skillet is the perfect temperature. If the skillet is not hot enough, then it's going to take longer for the white to set, and it's more likely just going to kind of make a mess, and you're going to end up with more white than you need. If it's too hot, then it sticks on the bottom and you can't get it to flip. So I like it to be the right heat, and I just kind of feel for it. You can feel that heat kind of come up and kind of scorch your inner palm a little bit. And that's how you know you're good to go. I'm just going to take this egg and crack it right into our skillet. Beautiful, see? And what you want when you throw it in, you don't want it sizzling immediately. That means your pan's too hot, but you want to see that white start to form. That means the pan is good and hot. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a little salt on here. And a little pepper. And we will let this baby do its thing. Alright, like I said, once those whites start to form, your egg is good to go. Now, if you're a bit of a novice, you're going to want a spatula and probably turn this over. But if you're fancy, you just get to the lip of the skillet like that, and you turn it right over. So anyways, once I flip the yolk, I turn the heat off. The residual heat from the skillet is going to cook the white on the other side so it gets nice and firm. And then our yolk is going to stay good and runny. Let's pull our bread out. I'm so excited. Oh, look at that. You've still got that kind of green color. You can even see the flecks of the lime zest in there, and it's nice and browned. I'm going to set that on this rack right here so it cools down and let the air circulate so it cools underneath too, because that's really going to help us unmold this later. And I think our egg is finished, so I'm going to move that off the heat. Let's grab our bagel and get moving. Bagel is nice and toasted, just a little brown on it, not too much. Then we're going to grab our spoon here, get some of this guac, and just a nice dollop of it. And I'm just going to smear that all over our bagel. And then if you want, you can use the other half kind of like a sandwich. But I'm going to do it like this because I want to see that, I want you to be able to see that runny yolk. And then this, I'm just going to slide right on. Oh, beautiful. Let's grab a fork and dig in. Does this not look amazing? I'm so ecstatic to dig in. So first we cut here. Oh, just like I said, that yolk just oozes everywhere. And I just like to really make sure that that yolk kind of comes all over. a runny yolk. That's probably one of my favorite things ever. And then I'm just going to cut down into this bagel. Oh, yes. Alright. Make sure I get a nice bite with everything on it. The egg and the guac. Oh, yeah. So, the reason I chose the bagel, you get that really nice texture. It's kind of doughy in the middle, but then you get that hard crunch on the outside. The nice and creamy fatty avocado pairs beautifully with this runny yolk. And then you've got the that sharpness from the onion and everything in this guac, and the acidity of the lime. It cuts through the richness of the egg and the avocado. It's just a wonderful balance of flavors. And you're getting several food groups in one little dish. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish this up. And then I think it'll be time to unmold our cake. I'm making a little glaze to go on top. Alright. Welcome back, guys. Time to unmold my cakes. I've got a little plate here, fancy plate. I've laid some parchment on it. That's going to help keep things clean when we do our glaze, because I am not done with this baby yet. I'm making a lime glaze to go on top. Now, if the cooking spray did its job, this should pop right out. And yes, it does. Oh, beautiful. So I'm going to set that right there. So on to the glaze. For the glaze, we need 2 cups of powdered sugar. And this is a ½ cup scoop. So I need 2 of those. And it seems like a lot, but that powdered sugar really breaks down. And then some more of my good vanilla. This time I need a whole teaspoon, so I'm going to fill this cap all the way up. And the rest of our lime. So I zested one side, I'm going to zest the other side. I just think it's going to look really pretty in the glaze to have little specks of lime in it. Because then people know that it's lime, as if they can't already smell it. I don't want too much, I don't want it to be like overpowering, so I'm just going to... That's why I did half of the zest for inside the cake, and then I'm going to do the other half here for the glaze. I think that'll be just the perfect balance. Okay. I think that's pretty good. I want to make sure I get all the juice out of this. We need about 2 tablespoons. So we got to get a whole lot of this juice out of here. So that's going to be about a whole lime. So I think we can get close to a tablespoon per lime. Just squeeze it really good. And this one as well. Yeah. Work those muscles. That looks about pretty good, I think. Just enough for everything to come together. And then I come in here with my littler whisk, and then we're just going to stir that up. Yeah, so you just want to make sure it's nice. It's firm, it holds its shape, but it just kind of cascades. And I just take, I get a nice glop of it on my whisk, and then I just kind of back and forth, just kind of cascade it over top. You don't have to get too fancy with it, I just like to have fun with it. And you can kind of just go back and forth with it until everything is covered. And there's just a little bit more in here, so I'm going to take the rest of that. And just anywhere there you see any gaps, just come in here and fill it in. Alright, I'm going to come in here with my knife, and I'm just going to slice into a nice little piece off the heel. Oh yes, and I've got a little napkin. Beautiful. Oh, look at this. Guys, look at this. And then you can see the inside of the bread. Oh, so good. And I like the heel because it has that extra crust on it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you get kind of that bread, kind of cakey texture.
Lots of texture on the outside. The inside is nice and soft. Has a nice crumble to it. That glaze, though. It's so good. It's sweet, but then it's also a little acidic. So good. Amazing. I probably will slice up the rest of that and take it with me to my Bible study. But, for now, I'm going to finish this up, finish cleaning up, and I will see you guys next time.